Hey, what's up, guys? Ken here from the Retro Thought Escapades channel in Malaysia. I hope that everyone's doing good out there. Tonight, I'm back to doing the mini comic reviews for the classic Masters of the Universe vintage stories from the 1980s. And tonight's tale is The Menace of Trap Jaw. Now, I remember reading this a while back, and as I recall, I was pretty surprised at how Trap Jaw was actually originally introduced for the very first time. Totally not at all what I expected it to be, so we're going to get into that in a bit. And the other thing that's pretty interesting is that when you look at the cover of this mini comic, it says here that this thing was printed in 1982 in the United States of America. I'm so used to seeing these mini comics being printed out at some place from Asia, like Malaysia, where I come from, or even Hong Kong. But I guess way back when the brand was first starting out, Mattel was getting this stuff printed and manufactured straight out of America. So hey, let's get into checking out the story, The Menace of Trap Jaw. Now, the story starts with Skeletor just standing outside Castle Grayskull and blasting at its entrance with his power sword. At the same time, he's talking to himself and complaining about how despite everything he's done over the years, he just can't seem to ever find a way into the castle and get its secrets and power. Now, I like how Skeletor is able to single-handedly mount this casual attack on the castle. He didn't even bring an army, and the castle isn't even trying to defend itself. It's just letting Skeletor blast it. Those gun turrets on top of Castle Grayskull not even being used when an attack is being mounted literally at the front door. Okay, but after some thinking though, Skeletor develops this brainstorm of an idea about how he could use his magic to open up a portal to a parallel dimension, one that exists alongside Eternia and Castle Grayskull. So the plan is that once he enters the other dimension, he will be able to exit at a point in space and time that will cause him to enter exactly within Castle Grayskull itself. Okay? Yeah, it sounds a bit far-fetched, I know. But Skeletor believes that this is possible. Now, the castle apparently will prevent Skeletor's magic from entering it directly, but seemingly will not prevent magic from being used to enter it via a parallel dimension. Now, does that seem right to you? Anyway, let's just roll with it. Now, once Skeletor gets into the other dimension, that's when the fun begins. Skeletor immediately encounters a strange cybernetic being who appears to be a criminal that's on the run from that dimension's authorities. Now, this right here is the first appearance of the pop culture property known as the First Appearance Trap Jaw. Okay, First Appearance Trap Jaw is different from the standard regular edition appearance Trap Jaw because his body is like this yellowish light green color instead of blue. Now, this version in fact recently turned up as part of the Eternian Minis series and even as a Funko Pop, okay, but an exclusive of course. And while the vintage series never had him in this particular color, if I were to go back to the 2002 MOTU toy series, there was a recolored second edition version of Trap Jaw that was green. Okay, although it was a darker green, but it was definitely influenced by this first appearance in the mini comic. Okay, so anyway, in the chase and the struggle, both Trap Jaw and Skeletor are pushed through the portal back to Eternia. I mean, Skeletor barely had any time to take in the sights, okay, and he's already being shoved straight back to his home planet. Now, back on Eternia, King Randor calls for an emergency meeting. The ground is trembling. The city walls are shaking. Apparently, the opening of the dimensional portal has brought a great disturbance to Eternia, one that could shatter the planet apart. Now, in a lot of depictions, either in comics or in the cartoon, or even the actual action figure of him, King Randor is portrayed as a somewhat dashing and strong king who's maybe in his early 50s at the most, alright? But here, the mini-comic makes him look as old as Gandalf. Masters waste no time making their way to the source of the disturbance, and you see this shot here of both the Talon Fighter and the Wind Raider flying at top speed towards Castle Grayskull. But wait just a minute. At the start of the story, hey, wasn't the Talon Fighter parked on top of Castle Grayskull? And then now you get this shot of it flying towards it. What's going on here, guys? I mean, are they like two of them? Now the Masters are about to confront Skeletor, but just then the drawbridge to the castle opens and out strolls Trap Jaw, looking cool and confident, and apparently also now overflowing with the power from Castle Grayskull. It seems like after they both fell through the portal, Skeletor ended up right back where he started, which was outside the castle doors, but somehow Trap Jaw materialized inside the castle and was able to absorb its powers. You know, apparently all you need to do is just gain entrance into the castle, and the castle literally gives up its power to you. Okay, that's just what it does. Okay, it doesn't even struggle. It doesn't even differentiate between a hero and a villain. I mean, whose side is this castle on? Okay, I mean, and how easily can it be to attain its power? All right, but well, you know, apparently Trap Jaw is now just bursting with the power. Now, I have to say that I went into the story totally not expecting the direction that it was going to take. I had next to no idea what the origin of Trap Jaw was going to be like. Now, all this time, I thought that he was maybe like this evil ironsmith that was just good at crafting weapons, and that, you know, one day Skeletor just rolled up and said, "Hey, you want a job?" And he's like, "Sure." So, seeing this here, Trap Jaw being imbued with the cosmic power of Castle Grayskull, it's really quite a sight. And the action in the story is good. The Masters try to take him down, but of course they get taken down instead, taken down hard. He-Man himself is unable to withstand Trap Jaw's might. Okay, He-Man himself gets knocked the hell out. Now Skeletor tries using his magic to take out Trap Jaw, but Trap Jaw is simply too powerful for him and reverses the magic and thrashes him out instead. Okay, it's great stuff, man. I gotta say that the stakes in this story seem really high, alright? And you see Trap Jaw drunk with his own power. And he says here, "Nothing can stop me," with his arms outstretched like in a Jesus Christ pose, like it's a Soundgarden song from the 90s. And then comes the moment that is sure to get fans cheering. He-Man and Skeletor must unite to stop Trap Jaw. It's like, you know, anytime things get too hard to handle, they sort of have this immediate understanding. And it's like, let's team up, okay? So they must call upon the combined power of their power swords. You know, honestly, both these guys have joined forces so many times that you really have to wonder, why don't they just become friends? So then we get this scene of the combined power sword versus the power of Castle Grayskull that's feeding through Trap Jaw. And Trap Jaw ends up getting fried in a spectacular finish. Now the story ends with Skeletor carrying off Trap Jaw with a comment on how he will plan to make Trap Jaw his slave. Now perhaps it's also at this moment that Skeletor will later use his dark magic to transform Trap Jaw into his Smurf blue color, alright, instead of being green. But maybe because Skeletor also wants another blue-skinned buddy by his side. So that's the video, guys. Now, you know, Trap Jaw, he's like one of the all-time greatest Masters of the Universe characters ever made, alright? And I'm sure that he's in practically every fan's top 5 list. So, reading this, I'm glad that they decided to give him an origin story that really felt grand, alright? It's like, you know, it's really grand, and I didn't expect it to be almost on a cosmic scale. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the video, And let me know if you want me to cover more mini comic reviews. I'll be doing that anyway. But you can also leave your comments and your feedback, and let me know if you have any particular requests for me to cover a certain mini comic story, and I'll probably get on that ASAP. So hey guys, take care out there, and I'll catch all of you real soon.